All right, so today we're in section 3.2, adding and subtracting linear expressions. All right, so in example 1, we're going to practice adding linear expressions. So how do I know that this is addition? Because I see subtraction signs in here, in these expressions. But there's an addition sign between the expressions. Do you guys see that? Okay, so that's why this is considered addition. Because there's a plus sign between the two groups. Does that make sense? Yes, Kylie. So 3.2 is in your chapter 3 notes packet. If you just flip to the next, to 3.2, right after, Okay, so step 2 is going to be rearranging. Does anybody remember what property says that I can rearrange my terms in any order? Y'all just tell me. Commutative property. Okay, so remember, we can't just do something because we feel like it. It has to be some kind of rule. Okay, so commutative property says that I can rearrange this expression so I could match up my like terms that I could combine. So we always want to start with the first term that we see. In this case, it's x. Is there any other term in this whole expression that also has an x that I could match up next to it? 3x. Now, here's the question, and this is the number one mistake that I see if there is a mistake. Is 3x going to be positive or negative when I bring it down? Positive. It is positive. So whatever sign it is in the original, I have to make sure that I keep that sign. So that's why it's plus 3x. Okay, because it was positive originally. So now, when I bring down my 2, am I going to bring down a plus 2 or a minus 2? A minus 2, because there's a subtraction sign in front of it. So minus 2. And what do you think about 8? Would it be plus 8 or minus 8? Plus 8. Okay, so now, and if you remember 3.1, I know it was like a week ago that we learned 3.1. Okay, but remember that we go by our rules. When we're combining like terms, it's the same rules for adding and subtracting like terms and integers. All right, so now is a great time to sing our song. Everybody together. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Take the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. Okay, so the same rules apply here. All right, now wait a second. Is there anything that goes in front of the x when there's nothing there? 1. A 1. Do not forget about that. I would write it in there just so you remember. Okay? All right, so what is 1x plus 3x? 4x. All right, now be careful here. Is this same sign or different? It is different, okay? So every number has a sign. The sign's in front of the number. 2 is negative. Okay, you say that's a subtraction sign. That is correct, but that means that 2 is negative. So what is negative 2 plus 8? 6. Yes, it's going to be 6. Plus 6. Why did I say plus 6 instead of minus 6, Mikhail? Because you said negative 2 plus 8 was positive 6, right? So because it's positive 6, that means that the plus sign would go in front of 6 as the operation. This is as far as you can go. You cannot. So you got to fight the urge to come up with an answer. You don't have an answer because you don't know what x equals. That's it. This is your answer. Simplify. You can't simplify this anymore. All right, let's look at the next one across. Okay, so negative 4y plus 3 plus 11y minus 5. All right, so again, we're going to rewrite this using commutative property. Okay, so Dylan, we have negative 4y. What would be the term that you would write next?
11y.
Positive or negative? Yes, positive, so plus 11y. Now I'm going to bring down my plus 3. Does everybody understand why it's plus 3? Because 3 was positive in the original. All right, and Destiny, what would you bring down after the 3? Negative 5, which is also, would you agree, minus 5. Is that the same thing? Yes, it's the same thing. So now I'm ready to combine like terms. I want you guys to try this. Okay, just give you a minute, just a couple seconds to look at this and see if you can combine your like terms. Okay, let's see. Haley, did you get negative 4y plus 11y? What would that one be? 7y. All right, do you agree with her? 7y? Does a sign need to go in front of this 7y? No. Why not? Because it's positive. So when it's the first term, you don't need to write a plus. Okay, so it's just 7y. Did you guys get 7y? Just kind of nod if you got 7y. All right, Michael, what do you think about 3 minus 5? What'd you put?
Negative 2.
All right, so did you put minus 2? Because 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So you're going to put minus 2 behind the 7y. All right, does everybody understand why it's minus 2? Because 3 minus 5 was negative 2. All right, so decimals and fractions. Now remember, these aren't going to be super complicated, but you're going to have decimals and fractions in pretty much every lesson, all right? That it's all going to be mixed in. Decimals are still what we call constants. It's still a number by itself. It's just a decimal. So someone raise your hand and tell me, what value would you write after the 4.5? And make sure you include the sign. Mikhail, what do you think? No. So what other number do I have in here? Very good. 6.5. Would I say plus 6.5 Cadence or minus 6.5? All right. It's plus because there's a plus sign in front of 6.5. Now, don't forget, bring down your negative. Is it okay if I put the 1 in front of the n? Yep. All right, and Halen, what would you write after the negative 1n? Any other like terms that you could write after that? What would you write?
Negative 10.
Perfect, negative 10n. All right, I want to see who can combine this now. Okay, so go by your signs and your rules for your signs. All right, let's see who can get this answer. All right, so 4.5 plus 6.5. You guys did well. Tell me what it was. 11 minus 11n. You guys did really well on that. All right, now fractions. What do I have to have before I can add fractions? Common denominator. Mikhail?
On the last problem, I did it different.
You did a little different? Did you get the same answer?
I got negative 11n plus 11.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I'll come check it out next time I walk around, but that's perfect. That's actually technically the better way to write it because of standard form. We said we write a letter before a number, but either way is fine. Your signs were correct, which is all that matters. Abby?
Didn't we technically find an answer for this one? Because if the 11s cancel out, then you can't time
It doesn't have an inline.
But they don't cancel, right? Because you cannot combine a number and a variable together. So this is the final answer. So not the, don't, yeah, okay, stop getting ahead. Okay, but do you see why the 11s don't cancel? Because one has a variable and one doesn't. All right, so Mr. Smarty Pants, I'm just kidding. Okay, before we get to that, y'all tell me what's the LCD? Okay, between 1/2. All right, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is about as easy as it comes when it comes to fractions. What's the LCD? 4. Okay, so 1/2. If my new denominator needs to be 4, what's going to be my new numerator? 2. Okay, can we just go ahead and do that? All right, so you don't have to. You can do that mental math probably, more than likely. All right, Now, which term would you bring down to put next to 2/4 W? 1/4 W. All right, y'all paying attention? You with me? Okay, now what term comes next? Someone raise your hand. What term do you write next? Trenton, what do you think? Which term do you bring down next from your original? You already brought down your W's. Minus 3. Good job. Okay. And then last, tell me. Plus 3. All right. Hudson, what do you see there? Give me the fancy word. What is it? Oh, come on. Don't spoil it. Okay, what is it, Abby? Additive inverse. That's going to pop up from time to time. That means that these cancel. Don't write 0 in your answer. What's 2/4 plus 1/4? 3/4 W. And that's my answer. All right? Hey, what is the difference here? The difference here, tell me. It is subtraction. How do I know? Because there are subtraction signs in between your sets of expressions. Yes.
Those two next to it, wouldn't that make 2, 6 or positive?
You're thinking on the right lines, okay? But let me kind of backtrack on that. All right? Do you see how if 2x was the only term inside that is a double negative? Okay? So what happens when you have a subtraction sign in front of the parentheses is, and you're going to learn more of this tomorrow, but what happens is the subtraction sign gets distributed. Okay? So everybody agrees that a double negative equals a positive, correct? And that minus a positive is the same thing as subtracting it, correct? So that's why, here's your rule, but that's the why. Your rule says that you will change the subtraction sign to a plus sign, and that every term inside the parentheses now becomes the opposite sign. So instead of negative 2x, it's now positive 2x. I want you to cross out negative 2x and write a 2x above it. Instead of it being positive 6, it's now negative 6. Okay? So my rule says to change the minus sign to a plus sign and then to reverse the sign of everything in the parentheses after that. Okay? All right, after that, not before it. Before it stays the same. Okay? Now, when you rearrange it, make sure you have your sign right. Okay? So this is definitely a mistake that I see on quizzes and tests. They don't get their signs right. Okay? So 5x, would I bring down a plus 2x or a minus 2x after I change the sign? It is plus 2x. Correct. But if you bring down a minus 2x, you're going to get your sign wrong. Okay? Plus 6 minus 6. What's it called? Additive inverse. Very good. All right. So everybody together. What is my answer? Loud and proud. 7x. Okay. 6 minus 6 is 0. And my answer is 7x. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next one over. 7y plus 5 minus 8y minus 6. Okay. So the first thing I look for is the sign in between my expressions. I see that it's a minus sign, so I change it to a plus sign, which means it's not positive 8y anymore, it's negative 8y, which means it's not negative 6 anymore, it's positive 6. Change your signs, write it down. Now bring them down and use your commutative property. All right, I want to see who can rewrite this expression. So match up your like terms. All right, I want to see if you can match them up together. Go ahead and do it. Good. Okay, 7y minus 8y. Did you guys write that? Daniel, did you get it? Okay. Plus 5 plus 6. All right, so Zoe, do you have an answer yet? Not yet? Oh, yep, you do. Okay, yes, please give it to me.
I got negative y plus 11.
Okay, negative y plus 11. Let me ask you this. How many people put the 1 in front of the y? You're both right. You're both right. So listen, the 1 is understood. Okay? So you can put it or not put it. It doesn't matter. And that was the same question Emily had. And you guys are thinking on the right lines. I know. It's because you're trained. Okay, listen. Let's do the last one, the fourth one down here, because we're running low on time. Okay, so I know you're so sad about skipping one. Okay, so now I have 3 separate expressions that I'm trying to combine. Do you think you're going to treat this any different as far as your rules go? It's no different as far as the rules go. All right, so if you're a step ahead of me, that's awesome, okay? That's great. Just make sure you're paying attention and fixing something if you get it wrong. So does the first expression change at all? No, because there's no negative in front of it. So the second one, I'm going to make my negative a positive. 3.5x becomes what, guys? Tell me. Negative 3.5x. Positive 8 becomes negative 8. All right. Daniel, what do you think about the last set? I changed that to plus, and what does it become? And negative 2. Very good. All right. How are you guys doing on this? Doing okay on changing your signs? Okay. So now we're going to pause here for a minute. I want to see who can match up their like terms together. Remember, get your sign right. The sign that you just changed it to, that's the sign you use when you bring it down. Okay? If you're already to the answer, that's even better. I'm going to come around and just check on you guys. You had 1 minus 8 minus 2 minus 3x minus 3.5x. Hold on, don't redo it. I thought you were close though.
But I didn't get it right.
I thought you were just missing a sign. Okay, just pay attention. Minus 0.5x. Now, some of you wrote your x's first. That's totally fine. Was your sign right? That's the most important part. Okay? So, now look at these 3, guys. Commutative property says you can combine these in any order. Which 2 numbers did you combine first? Negative 8. What's negative 8 minus 2? Negative 10 plus 1 would be negative 9. Okay, now you say, well, Miss Kinder, I just did 1 minus 8 is negative 7. Minus 2 is negative. That's totally fine. You can do it in any order. Okay, but commutative property can help you, like on your x's. Which terms, someone raise your hand, which terms do you think would be easiest to combine first? Haley? Right? The decimals, because what happens when you add 3.5 plus 1/2?
6.5.
Hold on. What happens when you add your decimals? Turns into a whole number, negative 4. So now what's negative 3x minus 4x? Negative 7x. Okay? Now, if you put negative 7x minus 9, is that still correct?
Yes.
Technically, it's a little more correct, but either way, I'm going to take it. I like the letter first because that's what we call standard form. All right. Now, last but not least, we have perimeter. Okay, I know. Okay, just give me like 1 extra minute after the bell rings. I promise you will not be late to lunch. I know some of you are starving. Okay, you have one of these on your homework. All right, now, if you skip out on me, you're going to have to watch the video. How do you find the perimeter of a triangle? Just tell me. Add, no, that's area. Add all the sides together. Okay, I'm just going to help y'all set this up, and then you should be able to take it from there. So P equals, watch this, one of your sides, 3m minus 2, plus another one of your sides, 5m minus 2, plus another one of your sides, 2m plus 7. Does that look familiar now?
Yes.
Could you combine your like terms to get to your answer? Let's try to do that. Okay, now I'm going to skip the step where we rearrange them because we're almost out of time. What's 3m plus 5m plus 2m?
10M.
All right, is everybody okay with that? Because I'm not going to write it. So everybody understands how I got 10m. Give me like 15 more seconds. Okay? All right. What is now negative 2 plus negative 2 plus 7?
11.
Negative 4 plus 7 is positive 3. This is it. This is your answer. You do not know what m equals. Now listen, let me give you a hint on your big ideas. Okay? You have one like this. Write down the word firefly. So you'll remember this when you do your big ideas question. This is similar to your firefly question. Okay? I don't know. I don't remember if you have a triangle. But on your firefly question, you will add them together and then it will give you a value for m. All right, y'all hear me on that? So then if you had a value, you plug it in and you get your answer. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. You've got about 11 questions on your homework tonight, but they should go quick.
Number 8, right?
What now?
Number 8.
Yes, your big ideas homework number 8 right here. Right here in your notes. Big ideas homework number 8, guys. Right here. Okay? All right, that's everything for today's lesson.